the tickety talk up and running. Okay. Oh my gosh, and my little graphic. Let me change you. Yep, that's what I want. Boom. Isn't that fun? I feel like that's probably mad blurry for you guys, but I don't really think there's much I can do about that. Okay, that's like the worst graphic I've seen in my life. I designed that in approximately 2 seconds. But welcome to the party. Happy Thanksgiving break. We have Baja Blast. We're talking about Todd Chrisley. I'm very, very excited for class tonight. That was in the freezer, so it's a little chunky. Christmas limited edition merch. Let me show you without knocking over my entire table. That's great. Let me show you. This is my favorite thing. It's like a crew neck sweatshirt, and it says, all I want for Christmas is a livable wage. These are only going to be up for a couple weeks. I'll probably take them down like a week before Christmas just so people get them in time. Scan the QR code or the link is in my link tree. The red is like this crew neck material. I also have everything in, oh, this is inside out because I was wearing it earlier. Sorry. I have these in white and in gray. The white one is in my bedroom. So you can see the TikTok for that. But this is like a t-shirt material, but it's a hoodie. So like if you want a thick one, go red. If you want a thin one, go these colors. I'd wear that year round and I hate Christmas. So we also have all I want for Christmas is small class sizes and adequate planning time. So you have red, gray, and white, and you have all I want for Christmas is small class sizes, adequate planning time, and a livable wage. So there's some teacher stuff, there's some not teacher stuff. You may also notice made some progress on the pink wall. Let me turn my computer a little bit so you can see. That's usually the angle that I'm giving y'all, but I don't know, for some reason. Oh, is this why? I moved my computer and it got like off. No wonder. I was like, I couldn't figure out the angle today. Is Mike still here? Okay, but you can see the wall is approaching completion. We love that for us. Let me not like break anything. Okay, y'all, tonight is going to be a movie. I can feel it. Also, I feel like I'm such a better streamer when I haven't been with children all day because I have a lot more energy. You can tell because I'm standing up. I might just stand up for the entire stream. That's why I got a bar height desk because I knew this would happen one day and it looks like today is the day. Told my mom I have to leave so I could attend a class about Todd Chrisley, and she was horrified. I never come to stream. My roommate wanted a ride to the airport, and I told them, too bad, this is Miss Redacted's class on the Chrisleys. So I truly hope I do this justice. I'm so glad, A, that I did this, and B, that I decided to do it over Thanksgiving break, because this took so long. If you're like, Mr. Redacted, why is there only 59 slides? Some of them are a lot of text and super, super long, and we're going to watch some clips from the show. Shout out to the new Mac. But anyway, it was so hard to gather everything about them, you know? Because like when I did LuLaRoe, there's tons of articles that are like LuLaRoe beginning to end that are super, super long. I could not find a single person that had done that with the Chrisleys. I'm sure someone had and I just wasn't looking hard enough, but the sources is so long and I didn't even include all of them. I'm so excited to be here knowing absolutely nothing about them. So correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of think, don't shoot, streams eat harder if you've never heard of the person or the topic that we're talking about. I think when you come in with background knowledge, it makes it like more interactive because you have more to say. But I feel like if you're just an observer, if you know nothing, it's like a lot more mind-blowing than if you have like a lot of background intel on the situation. But let's go ahead and get started. Look at this pimple that I'm getting. God. Oh, why am I like literally so far over here? Immediately no. Okay, there we go. Also, fun fact. So this desk that I'm using, it's literally so small. Like not all my stuff fits here at all. Like I'm actually terrified my computer's gonna fall off. But like it's so little. It's just like a little, it's like a 1-seater bar. table. That's literally what it is, from Amazon. But I love it because it's the perfect height and it's just like so simple and it's white and black and it's exactly what I need. So I was going to buy a bigger one. I like how I said I was going to get started. We're 5 minutes in and we've done nothing. So I was going to buy a bigger table because I was like, I need more space to sprawl out. Like I need my drink for the podcast. I need my mic, like to have the TikTok and the iPad and like everything going. So I bought this bigger table. It got here a couple days ago. Yesterday I put it together, immediately had a mental breakdown. Immediately. I was like, get it away from me. My boyfriend was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, like I actually can't look at that table. It was the wrong, like it looked wrong. It felt wrong. The vibe was wrong. It just like, and it was my fault. I didn't do enough research. I was just kind of like panic buying because I wanted a bigger table. And I was like, oh, this one's bigger. Add to cart, buy. When like, I think, is there a link to your merch? Yes, I will get this for you. But anyway, I had like a complete mental breakdown about this table because it looked so bad. And like, you know, when something just doesn't look the way you expect it to and you just like have a mental breakdown, like that's what happened yesterday. Within 24 hours, I got that thing sold on Facebook Marketplace and out of here because I paid $180 for it. I was going to return it, but I would have had to get a box for it because I like destroyed the box while opening it, take it back apart, and paid for shipping to return it. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $110 and a guy came and picked it up this morning. Like I feel like that was a better move than returning it, even though I lost $70. You know? The furniture, it just didn't vibe. Like I wanted just like a bar height table to sit at. Like I just want like a simple, like a desk, but bar height. Because I have these bar height stools and I just kind of like being up high and I like my legs dangling and whatever. That's all I wanted. And this table, like it looked like it belonged in a Charming Charlie's. Like if you know, you know. Like it was glass and like chrome. I thought it was going to be like brushed silver, but it was like bright chrome. It just looked so bad. Like it just literally looked so bad. You know? Totally get it. Honestly ready to set my house on fire because nothing is vibing. No, exactly. Like you look around and you're like, I want to end it all. Like I can't do this because it literally just looks so bad in here. But anyway, before we get into Todd Chrisley, because someone asked for my merch link, I put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat again. Shameless plug, trying to make that money, you know. Economy is down right now. Things are unwell. There we go. I say as I'm wasting $70 on a fucking table. But anyway, here's my merch. So here, right up front is the Christmas limited edition stuff. Like I said, this will be up probably for a month. It's November 22nd right now. I'll take it down around December 20th. But yeah, so we have All I Want for Christmas is a Livable Wage. We have it in gray and in white. I like the white. The white is a little bit see-through though, because it's like a very thin like t-shirt hoodie thing. This is what I'm wearing right now. All I Want for Christmas is a Livable Wage in the red. This is like a sweatshirt. Like it's like thicker and like soft, you know? We also have All I Want for Christmas is Adequate Planning Time and small class sizes. And like you can see, everything is available in each other. So like small class sizes, livable wage, adequate planning time. But yeah, blacked out, forgot it's Wednesday. Visceral reaction to Charming Charlie's. Charming Charlie's, they were there for us when no one else was. Like, I'll give them that. But anyway, let's talk about Todd Chrisley. Let's discuss, because I have a lot to say right now and every single day of my life. For anyone living under a rock, Chrisley Knows Best was a reality TV show. It premiered on March 11th, 2014. That is in the game. That question is in the game. And it followed the lives of real estate tycoon is a little much, Todd Chrisley and his family. The show filmed in Roswell and Alpharetta, the suburbs of Atlanta, before primarily moving to Nashville during the 4th season. Growing Up Chrisley, a spinoff focusing on Chase and Savannah, premiered in 2019. And in June of 2022, Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty on federal charges of bank fraud and tax evasion to fund their lavish lifestyle. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But it is a lot. It's a lot deeper than that. Like, unfortunately, that is just scratching the surface of it, even as insane as that already is. This is what they look like. I will say, like, her bob, killer. That's exactly the haircut of a probably gay Southern real estate tycoon's wife, you know? And I don't mean that derogatorily. Like, I just think it really fits her vibe. And I love seeing someone with like a haircut or like an outfit that like so fits their vibe. I'm like, great work, like great brand recognition right now on you. Like that's awesome, you know? Exactly what I expected. Really like on brand, on the moment, exactly what we were expecting from you in this moment. And I mean that in a good way, you know? Premiere date. Oh, yeah, I will be in the game. So today we're mainly going to be focusing on Todd's life because of time constraints. There is a lot of other lore about like his daughter's divorce. His son has had some substance abuse issues. He has his daughter Savannah, who was in pageants. Like there's a lot of lore with his children. We're not really going to get into that. We're mainly going to be talking about him. We will talk about the children in relation to him. We will not talk about them as their own entities. I thought Todd was gay. I think a lot of us did. Also, I hate that in this GIF, he's like making eye contact with us. That really makes me uncomfortable. Scoops Jam, thank you for subscribing with Prime. And also, I don't have work tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm going to sleep in. So I am just going to be taking my time tonight. We're going to be having a grand old time. I'm very excited about this. This story is very insane. I'm going to need another class on the fam, please. I easily could. So Michael Todd Chrisley, who goes by the name of Todd, was born in Georgia, but he was raised in Westminster, South Carolina. That sounds like a fake town. He was previously married to his high school girlfriend, Teresa Terry, before he married his wife, Julie, in 1996. The star of the USA Network TV series Chrisley Knows Best is the father of 5 children, Lindsay and Kyle Chrisley. Those kids are from his first marriage with Teresa. And then Chase, Savannah, and Grayson, who he shares with his current wife and the co-star of the show, Julie Chrisley. Julie Chrisley is his wife. She's also from South Carolina and the daughter of a Baptist minister. They're like very much, it's giving small town. Tom said that he embraced a long time, why did I just like become illiterate? Todd said that he has embraced long-time false rumors that he is gay. He said, I'm flattered people think I can get laid on both ends, so that doesn't bother me. And my wife is certainly flattered that as many men want her husband as there are women. Okay. I feel like that's kind of like a long-winded response. You know what I mean? FP Chem, thanks for subscribing. Like that really to me is just a long-winded response. Like, not bad, I guess, but okay. Who wants it? So here is him with his wife, Teresa Terry. We will be talking about her. Here's a blurry ass pic of them. They just look so white. Like, please look at the outfits, the pearls, the fucking overalls with the matching hat. Here's Todd with, I believe that's with Savannah. These are just some younger pics of him. What I will say, there is not much info online about this man's early life. That's him with Julie. There is like, I was looking, could not find. Like a lot of people, like Kim Zoliak, I found articles about her like in her like hometown newspaper. Like Todd Chrisley, I think just like popped out of the earth one day with like 5 photos to prove his existence. Like there is literally no record of him other than like the things that he has said on the show. Like all the things about where he was from, that's just from him saying it. Like I looked like high school photos, yearbook photos. With like normal celebrities, you can always find that stuff because people that knew them back then will post it or sell it or whatever. This man had like nothing. Like all I could find was on those weird like star birthday bio website. This is what he said in the show. I couldn't find other stuff. I don't know. I feel like he would also be the type of person, yeah, like I couldn't really find info on his parents and like all that stuff. I feel like he would be the type of person that would like somehow get everything offline for his brand. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of just what I get from him. Maybe he changed his name. I didn't look that hard. Like I wasn't looking at census records. Like I'm sure if I really dug into it, I could find stuff. But I don't know. I just felt like it was weird that it wasn't just there. Because for most people, it's just there. And he's a pretty big celebrity. So I'm surprised. But anyway, her hair really is giving the Hillary Clinton. Like, that was the look of the day. So this article is super, super recent, but it seems very relevant. While fans of Chrisley Knows Best are used to watching Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley be peas in a pod on screen, his dynamic with his first wife, Teresa Terry, was nowhere as chipper. Teresa Terry has never been featured on Chrisley Knows Best. She said, I know that Todd isn't all bad. There's good in him. He can be witty and fun company, but if he doesn't get what he wants, you better believe there will be consequences. And this was an interview with the Daily Mail. She met Todd while they were still in high school, and she got pregnant with Lindsay when she was 19. And according to her own description, they got married because they both thought it was the right thing to do. As Teresa told the Daily Mail, moving from house to house with Todd felt exhilarating at first. He was a natural-born interior designer, and he possessed an unparalleled ability to transform the dirtiest, grittiest, most disgusting properties into beautiful homes that sold for a significantly increased price. So I guess this is when he's like starting to make his money. I don't know how he saved the money for his first house. This is the stuff like I really just could not find online. So Todd insisted on exercising a great deal of control over the refurbishment process from the very beginning. He and Teresa would stay at each property to supervise the work. The relationship turned sour only a few years later. As Teresa told the Daily Mail, there were times when Todd would scream uncontrollably at her for no apparent reason, only to change tact and then give her the silent treatment for days and days. Terry alleged in old divorce documents that her ex was also capable of much worse crimes. He likes to control his environment. I had 2 small kids, but everything had to be picture perfect. Your hair always had to be fixed and you always had to be dressed to the tens. Tom allegedly became so controlling that she filed a prevention of family violence order against him, alleging that he once yielded a knife while threatening to kill her. She also claimed that Todd tore off her clothes and hit her using his closed fist. That's a big deal in like family violence cases, is closed fist versus open. I don't know if that's still the case now, but I know that was like a rule in CPS in the 90s that like you weren't allowed to hit your kids with a closed fist, but you could with an open fist. I have never abused a kid, and I never was abused as a kid, so I don't really know the CPS guidelines on that, but I probably should. Yeah, I'll hit that with a Google later. But anyway, I had no idea that he high-key abused his first wife. It tracks, though. It absolutely tracked. Oh, dress to the 10s means like better than dress to the 9s. Like you look perfect. Also, for those of you on TikTok, you have to come to Twitch to see pictures and videos and all that stuff that we're going to watch. Where was I? So Todd was ordered to stay 1,000 feet away from Teresa, and she eventually filed divorce. She said, "You cannot believe how vindictive he can be." Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. So even though this article was super recent, a lot of it was in those original divorce documents. So that's some Todd lore for you. That's what he was up to. So we're off to a very, very insane start. Oh, I'm a Walmart parking lot on Twitch. I'm a Walmart parking lot everywhere, except on Instagram. I'm a Walmart parking lot with 2 T's on Instagram because they hate me. And a Walmart parking lot has not posted in years, but I digress. So anyway, Todd denied treating his former spouse cruelly, and he was allowed joint custody of their kids. In 1996, the same year their split was finalized, he married Julie. That says a lot to me. That says a lot to me. Not 999, not 1,001, but he has to be 1,000 feet away at all times. Imagine if that's how it worked. Imagine. Can you? I can't. Baja Blast is so good. Such a good decision on my part. Mr. Responsible went to go get it while I made dinner. How did he end up with part custody? The government hates us, I guess. So how did he make money? Originally, he worked in real estate and properties where he would flip houses. This is where he would increase the profit of the home before selling it again. So basically, the way this works is you buy a shitty falling apart house for not much money. You fix it up and then you sell it for a lot of money. That's the whole shtick right there. This is a very rich person way to make money. You know where they say you have to have money to make money? This is the type of stuff they're talking about. Like you have to have enough to buy a house still. And this used to be a lot easier, but because today the housing market is insane, and you're really in a lot of places the value is the land, not the actual house. But back then it wasn't as much that way. But I digress. So anyway, Chrisley's business was successful and lucrative. Lucrative means made money from 2007 until 2012. But the family's shopping habits got them in trouble, as the Chrisley family would buy any designer item in order to give off an era of affluence. But when the real estate they were working on no longer brought in enough money, they found a new way to make money, and that's when they started to forge documents. So it seems like they were actually just like on the books rich people until 2012, which also makes sense because like the real estate market was kind of at that time. So we will discuss the details of their crimes later, but basically they were rich off real estate and they were secretly doing fraud, and then they got a TV show. So let's discuss the show. So again, their show premiered in 2014. They started committing fraud in 2012. When they got the show, no one knew they were doing this, and because they had had an on-the-books successful business for years, no one felt the need to look into it, I guess. But, so. Oh, this is just about kind of just lore on who is in the show and what people we're about to look at. So Lindsay, his oldest daughter, is in the show. We're going to talk a lot more about her later, so I'm going to skip over that. When I made that slide, I was in a different headspace. Kyle Chrisley is Todd's oldest son. His mom is Teresa Terry. He's the father of Chloe, and he has had addiction issues in the past and bipolar disorder as well. He appeared in the first season, but then he did unfortunately relapse and is only mentioned in future seasons. And he has a daughter, Chloe. Todd and Julie legally adopted Chloe because both Kyle and Chloe's mother were both dealing with issues. I don't really know a ton of the details about that. I really don't think that, like, that's Chloe's business at the end of the day. So that's sad that happened to her, but it's not really relevant to the crimes that were committed. So just so you can kind of understand who is who, I'll explain that, but we're not really going to get into the details of Chloe's custody and her parents and all that because none of them asked to be famous. So, Chase Chrisley is Todd and Julie's oldest son. Then they also have Savannah Chrisley, who's their younger daughter. She is a beauty pageant competitor, and she won Miss Tennessee Teen in 2016 and placed in the top 15 of Miss Teen USA. She also founded a cosmetics company and is an influencer. Then Grayson Chrisley is Todd and Julie's youngest son, and then their adopted daughter, Chloe. And then Nanny Faye is Todd's mother. She is from Westminster, South Carolina. So that's kind of like the cast of the show is their immediate family who lives with them plus Nanny Faye. So like I said, we're not really going to talk about the kids other than how dirty Todd did Lindsay because the kids have done some out-of-pocket things as well, but they didn't really ask for this attention. And like I said, they have their own lore in themselves. But we're just not going to get into that today. So just some general lore from the show. In 2012, Julie Chrisley was diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent a double mastectomy. She later reflected on the support her husband offered her through treatment in a 2018 interview. She said, "I truly believe that moment took our relationship to a whole nother level. I also find it interesting that the year she got breast cancer is the year they started committing financial crimes. I'm not saying that makes it okay, but I'm just saying, like, I've generally heard having cancer is expensive. So, I don't know. Interesting link. And then in 2014, that's where Chrisley Knows Best debuts. It highlights the family's well-to-do lifestyle behind the scenes. But behind the scenes, prosecutors allege this is when their financial trouble started. 2016 is when they gained custody of Chloe following her birth 1 year prior. So they got custody when she was pretty young. This is also when Kyle opened up about substance abuse. And then the show's popularity grew. In 2016, Todd Chrisley won the Reality King Award at the American Reality Television Awards. And then June 2018 is when they had their 100th episode, and their podcast, Chrisley Confessions, debuts on the iHeartRadio network. So that's just kind of like what their life is and what they're up to pre-getting in trouble. Pull my arm. We'll watch some of the show. I guess that you convinced me that no one asked.
Dad, it's the weekend. You know what that means?
What?
All sodas.
Grayson, you're not drinking that soda.
Daddy!
You're not drinking.
You gotta watch who you're talking to.
I love the show, not gonna lie.
Oh well. You gotta risk it to get the biscuit.
Dress is almost to your vagina.
My God, you look like a young version of Pamela Anderson.
Well, that's what I'm striving to be.
You can take that off because that's not gonna happen. It's just me and you that's supposed to be walking through the door, not me, you, and your camel toe.
That's his wife.
God. I wished I had some Katy Perry.
Some what? What do you know about shaking it for dollar bills?
I have video games.
Jason, aren't I always good to you?
No?
There's only one bull out there screwing all them others.
That's exactly right.
That one's named Chase. What happens at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're reminded of 9 months later.
You were the first mistake.
I mean, can you not tell how upset I am about this?
No, not with all that Botox.
Who's your daddy now?
Yeah! I want you, baby!
This show is so chaotic.
Strike! Strike! Fail! Strike!
Hustle! Come on, son, come on!
It's so fast. You go to like a go-kart place or
That's
take him
not
to the
legal.
fast. You just need to milk it more. You need to learn how to play the game.
I milked it for you and me both.
Sonny, you got me a go-gurt. I didn't get no bends out of it.
What do you need all this money for?
So I can stunt. So I can ball.
Okay, you need to talk to me in English because I don't understand it. What you think?
Who do you think you are, and what happened to your fashion sense?
You heard that?
I don't want to hide the places called girls. Yeah, I know you're hurting, and if I could take the pain away, I'd give it to your mom and me, and you'd go shopping. Oh, send me the little heart emojis.
He want him some Leah.
Savannah, I swear to you, if I did not have Botox, you could really see how pissed off I am.
You just think you're all that in a bag of chips and some more.
I'm breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and dessert twice a week. You were caught smoking a cigarette with your brother. Thug wannabes. If I don't like
Thug
it, that's all that
wannabe.
matters.
What are you doing?
Him throwing his laptop in the
hell
pool.
is wrong with you?
You promised to stay out of her business.
I am out of her business. I'm in Blair's business.
So I want you to tell me your name and tell me your fitness goals.
I want to be a stronger athlete. And I'm Julie, and I want to look like Jeanette.
Coach Todd. Coach Todd. Coach Todd. Coach Todd.
Not
Are
Coach
you for
Todd.
real right now?
As a heart attack. Say
No,
bye.
bye-bye,
Say bye.
Chloe.
Say bye, Felicia.
Yeah, we're gonna watch more of it because even though they did crimes, like, it was a good TV show. A lot of people that have done crime make good TV. That Venn diagram, like, this is that Venn diagram. There's a lot of space in the middle of a Venn diagram right there. Oh, don't worry, the Be Gay Do
When I
Crime
was
meme is
growing
in
up, I
here.
vowed I would never become a control freak.
What's the S for? What is the S for? We'll go ahead and call it there. So, that is kind of what they're up to. We're going to backtrack a little bit. Again, their show started 2014. Between 2013 and 2016, they did not file any tax returns or pay any taxes, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. An insider's reporter was in the courtroom, and they said that they made $6 million from Chrisley Knows Best. The money from the show was paid into the Chrisley's company, 7 Seas Production. That is very common. It is not weird to set up a company for you and your family if you're on a TV show where you get paid through your company. That's normal. That part's totally fine. This part is not fine, but was not declared as income on federal tax returns. That part's not okay. It's clear that Mr. and Mrs. Chrisley were starring in a TV show, and they were being compensated handsomely as a result, the U.S. Attorney said in a press conference when the couple was indicted. That money was hidden from the IRS. In 2017, the couple learned that they were under investigation for tax evasion. The day the Chrisleys discovered that they were being investigated and the 7 Seas production account had been provided to the IRS, Julie took her name off the account and replaced it with her mother-in-law's. A Bank of America employee testified to this at the couple's federal trial. Prosecutors said at their indictment that switch was done in an attempt to keep the IRS from taking money from their account. So, it's a lot. That's step one. There is a lot. The audacity to not give the government their money while also being famous. Y'all are in trouble. So, August 12th, 2019. A grand jury indicts Todd and Julie Chrisley for charges of tax evasion. Entertainment Tonight received court documents of the charges, proving that the couple was indicted on multiple accounts of conspiracy, bank fraud, wire fraud, and tax evasion. Peter Tarantino, their accountant, was also indicted for tax-related offenses. Immediately after the charges met the public eye, Todd denied the charges, claiming that he and Julie were set up by a former employee. Todd also took to Instagram to tell fans that the former employee set out to convince the U.S. Attorney's Office that the couple was committing financial crimes. The couple stated they had nothing to hide. At the time, Todd also said, "Not only do we know we've done nothing wrong, but we've had a ton of hard evidence and a bunch of cooperating witnesses to prove it." So that's August 12th. August 14th. Todd and Julie appeared in an Atlanta court and entered a plea of not guilty. During the court hearing, the couple was granted an $100,000 unsecured bond. They were also ordered to turn in their passports effective immediately. So they don't have to go to jail, but they're not allowed to leave. They have to give their passports up. The court restricted the couple's travel to Middle Tennessee and North Georgia districts. Additionally, the Chrisleys were ordered to give notice to their probation officers if they needed to travel to California to tape their reality TV show. Todd told Atlanta news station WSB-TV, "We stand in our faith and we stand in what we know is right. We are fortunate to have the counsel we have, and our family will stick together. We'll walk this road because we know that the good Lord will hold our hand and take us through." So, okay. Seems like they're really taking like the Jesus route on this. So this is more about what he said on Instagram. He said, "It all started back in 2012 when we discovered that a trusted employee of ours had been stealing from us big time. I won't go into details, but it involved all kinds of really bad stuff like creating phony documents, forging our signatures, and threatening other employees with violence if they said anything. We even discovered that he illegally bugged our home." That's what Todd said on Instagram in August 2019. Todd alleged that after the family fired the guy, he took the phony documents to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and as a result, him and his wife Julie would be named in a federal indictment. So he's saying that this employee did this as payback for getting fired, I guess. He concluded the post by saying, "I'm telling you all this now because we have nothing to hide and we've done nothing to be ashamed of. Not only do we know we've done nothing wrong, but we have a ton of hard evidence and a bunch of corroborating witnesses to prove it." So, whatever, I guess. Then, August 15th, 2019. So this is a couple days after he gets indicted. In a police report obtained by E! News, Lindsay Chrisley stated that there is an ongoing issue with her family threatening and harassing her. According to the report taken on July 16th, 2019, so again, in 2017, they found out they're being investigated. They get indicted August 2019. This is like a month before the indictment. Lindsay stated that she recently learned her stepbrother claimed to have purchased a sex tape involving her. Based on the report, the Coffee Convos podcast co-host stated that her father, that's her podcast, I guess, her father and stepbrother wanted her to lie about an incident, and if she refused to do so, they were going to release the sex tape involving her. In response to these claims, Todd released a statement to E! News denying the allegations. "It's heartbreaking and shameful that these kinds of accusations have to be aired in public. We have tried to keep Lindsay's extramarital relationship with Robbie Hayes and Josh Murray." Why did he say that? Because she just said, "I'm being harassed." And he was like, "I'm not harassing you. I have been trying to keep your extramarital affairs a secret like I'm doing now in this E! News statement." Like, stop. "We have tried to keep Lindsay's extramarital relationships." I'm laughing because I feel so bad for her. Robbie Hayes and Josh Murray private for her sake since August 2016. Sadly, for reasons we can only guess at, she ran off to the sheriff's office to accuse her brother of buying a sex tape of her and Robbie, which was a complete lie, and now she's telling more lies about me. Although our hearts are broken, Lindsay is our daughter, and we will always love her. E! News reached out to Robbie and Lindsay's teams for comment, and for Josh, he spoke out on the relationship. He said, "Lindsay and I have been friends for years. I know Todd and his family are going through some tough times right now, and I pray everything works in their favor. They should probably focus on how to not be in prison for 30 years rather than trying to spread gossip spreading gossip to try and hurt their daughter. I truly believe they're good people and I wish them the best, however they choose to go about their actions. He's like, they're great people that need to shut the fuck up and worry about going to prison for 30 years, but I wish them nothing but the best in these endeavors. So this is messy as fuck. So messy. Julie and Todd. That just sounds weird. I've heard used to hearing it the other way. Julie and Todd's attorney, Stephen Friedberg, also calls any claims of extortion completely false. He also shared with E! News that Lindsay made a sworn statement before filing a police report that she wanted to support her father. Back on June 6th of this year, I interviewed her and she took a sworn statement and denied everything. She stated that she was never coerced into being an aide for her father at all. I don't know exactly what happened with the family fracturing, but the bottom line is there was a rift in the family, which is why she was not on the show. The couple's attorney shared with E! News. She came voluntarily and contacted her father and said that she wanted to help and that she had information and she voluntarily came into the office. I like how the lawyer's stance, he's like, there's definitely nothing weird because we made her swear a statement of loyalty. So that shows that nothing weird is going on. Like, other families don't have sworn loyalty statements with a lawyer months before an indictment. Maybe my family's weird, but we don't do that, personally. Soon after, Lindsay broke her silence on the family's legal drama with a statement through her lawyer. It was reported that Lindsay was the source of the information that led to her father's arrest. That is untrue. She was not the source of this information. Lindsay has been a constant target of lies, harassment, and threats from her family, and as a result, she has been distancing herself from the Chrisley family since 2017. Lindsay is currently processing the events that have unfolded. We will continue to cooperate with law enforcement and pray for a just resolution. So, seems messy as hell. Then a couple days later, Robbie Hayes opened up about the sex tape with Lindsay Chrisley. So Robbie Hayes is, I think, the guy from The Bachelor. I don't watch The Bachelor, so I don't really know. So, he explained that the tape was an accident. We did not make a sex tape. I'm not sitting here with a camera aimed down trying to get the best angles. We got caught on the security camera, basically. It was a puppy camera in her friend's living room, the couch that we crashed on. He added that he is now working with Lindsay to make sure the footage does not get released. We're in the middle of dealing with this. I was just talking with Lindsay this past weekend in Atlanta 2 days ago. I will say, he seems real. He seems real. Like, that sucks. We've all done stupid things. Like, everyone has done stupid things. And for it to be on a security camera, like, come the fuck on. God. That's probably illegal. I don't know. I think extortion's illegal. So, yeah, I think that is illegal. So, according to the reports from TMZ, Lindsay alleged that her father and brother harassed and threatened her over the reported sex tape. The report was filed July 16th in Georgia, and in the documents, she claims that her and her father wanted her to lie about the incident and said they were going to release a sex tape. We kind of already said that. She also claimed that her brother said that he had purchased the sex tape and she said there's an ongoing issue with her family threatening and harassing her. And then on Thursday, August 15th, Chase Chrisley also denied his sister's allegations. He said, I love my sister and I don't understand why she's doing this to our family. Not only am I heartbroken over these false allegations by my sister, and they are totally false, but so are my parents and the rest of our family. So seems like they're really, like, the family is at rift. It seems like August 2019 is the Chrisleys' Vietnam. Like, it seems like you're getting indicted, you have this thing going with your daughter, the Bachelor's involved. Like, seems like a rough month for y'all. Moving forward, October 15th, 2019. The Chrisleys filed a lawsuit against the director of the Georgia Department of Revenue's Office of Special Investigations, saying that he abused his power as a part of an effort to accuse them of bogus tax evasion claims. In the lawsuit, Todd and Julie said that the director, Joshua Waits, targeted their estranged daughter, Lindsay, as an attempt to induce her to reveal compromising information about her family and to gain media attention for himself. I like how anytime they're in legal trouble, Todd's like, well, my daughter is a whore. Now what? Now what can you say? Like, why is this, like, the second time in 2 months that you're talking about who your daughter has a relationship with? She already doesn't like you. Like, why are you still talking about this? So, the couple also claimed that Joshua Waits had an increasingly aggressive relationship with Lindsay and did not share their confidential tax and grand jury information properly with the Department of Revenue. Lindsay denied her parents' allegations. So, the plot thickens. So, this is the text messages that were obtained by TMZ that were apparently the detail of this lawsuit. So, from a contact labeled Josh, it reads, "So some stuff happened today, and we have a meeting in the first of the year that is super big. And all this is about Todd, like serious. So I want to know if you would be willing to talk about him or her." So I guess Josh texted that to Lindsay, and a Department of Revenue spokesman called the lawsuit unfounded. The lawsuit calls Joshua Waits an out-of-control public servant who has used his position to violate the rights of innocent citizens for reasons that have more to do with securing publicity and money for his office than with enforcing the laws. Waits targeted the real estate mogul estranged daughter Lindsay and improperly shared confidential tax information to try and get compromising information. In another text message, allegedly between Lindsay and Josh says they are going to need a different attorney than they are used to. After receiving messages reading, "This is really bad and I might be sick," the contact Josh replies, "You knew this day may come." So, and then this is some like Lindsay lore, but do I even... Okay, this is the last we're going to talk about. So, Lindsay was married to Will Campbell since 2012, but her father had been alleging that she cheated on Will a couple times, and Todd said that he found his daughter's elopement to be disrespectful. So apparently she eloped and married Will, and I guess he's had beef, Todd being him. Todd has had beef with his daughter since she eloped. We're not really going to talk more about her relationships and her separation and her children because it's not really our business and it's really confusing and she didn't ask for this. So we're not going to talk about her relationships, like I said, outside of the relevance to this case. And not to body shame anyone, but this guy, this Joshua that they're saying like manipulated and coerced their daughter, him, like he does not look like a master manipulator. He looks like a tax investigator. Like, look at him. I know y'all are paying attention because the chat is silent, but there's 291 people here. This is how it feels when my whole class is paying attention to me for like 5 seconds. And also in August 2019, Savannah Chrisley fired back at Lindsay's allegations against Todd and Chase by insisting that their father would try to help and instead of attempting to blackmail anyone. She said, "It's extremely sad that my dad has a child of his that's trying to make his life so miserable because she wasn't on the show and didn't get the attention she wanted." Oh my God. And then September 2019, during an episode of Coffee Convos with Kale Lowry and Lindsay Chrisley, podcast equipment should be harder to get, Lindsay hinted that she was looking to move on when she discussed using crystals for basically like healing wounds from your past and being able to move forward. Lindsay mentioned her father later on the episode while discussing her 30th birthday. She said, "I feel like my dad might have gone through a crisis when he turned 30. I feel like he was sad when he was turning 30, she said in September 2019. I definitely remember that. So she's kind of talking about her dad, but kind of not really. And then October 17th, 2019, Lindsay goes on Dr. Phil to talk about this. This is also in the game.
How did you find out that your father and stepmother were going to face charges by a federal grand jury?
And again, this is 2 days after, so just to like catch you up, because I know we've talked about a lot. The Chrisleys get indicted. Around the time of the indictment, it also leaks out that Lindsay had claimed that the Chrisleys were using this like sex tape against her. Shortly after she claimed that, the Chrisleys sued the Georgia investigators, saying that the investigator coerced their daughter. This is right after the Chrisleys sue the Georgia investigator people. She goes on Dr. Phil.
Jury in Atlanta, and I think that was for bank fraud, wire fraud, tax
Dr.
evasion.
Phil's always at the scene of the crime.
I started receiving texts that were talking about how I needed to be able to help them and could he meet with me. He asked me if I could meet him in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I thought maybe he's going to tell me sorry for things that have happened over the past couple of years. But when I got there, it was a completely different story.
Do you think maybe because he was in trouble that it maybe humbled him some, or that he was going to maybe...
That's exactly what I thought.
What was his attitude when you got together in a room? Where'd you meet in Chattanooga?
I met him at a barbecue place. He just looked at me and hugged me, but I could tell that his guard was up. I mean, you can tell by people's body language. I feel like he hugged me out of it being like a courtesy.
Mm-hmm. What happened during that meeting?
He told me that he was going to be indicted for, various financial crimes, and that they didn't do it. And he asked me multiple times if I had met an individual at Starbucks that he believed was part of the investigation. And I said no. And he said, no, you have. And I said, no, I haven't. And he's
also, for those of you on TikTok, this is juicy. So come to Twitch to see the video. The link is in my link tree. It's free.
That you met this person multiple times at Starbucks and there was an affair that was going on. And I said, no, that's not the truth. And I said, but while we're on the topic of lies, let's talk about the social media stuff that I've endured for the past 2 years from you and your 2 minion children.
2 minion children.
And then that's when I got the warning that Chase had incriminating evidence against me, nude photos, and had obtained this tape for $5,000. At that point, the conversation was over for me, and my attorney advised me to file the police report.
Your father told you that his PR team was going to put out a story, and the story was that you were sleeping with a government official and told him lies about your family.
Yes.
And so you turned him in because you were mad at him. So that's where the government was coming from, not from any real basis for these indictments, but it was just you having a vendetta against him.
Right.
Did you backdoor, secret source the federal government against your family?
No.
You were not a whistleblower that turned the federal government onto your family's wrongdoing?
No.
Did you want to bring Chrisley Knows Best down in flames?
So dramatic.
Did he think you would go along with this just to protect him? I mean, look, it's your father. Maybe he's going to go to prison, and if you'll just kind of go along with this story, then maybe he's out of trouble.
Right, and I think it never made sense to me because what he was accusing me of didn't have anything to do with the federal side of his investigation. It had more.
That's the big thing. He's being investigated state and federal. He's saying that this is her fault and that she slept with this guy, but that wouldn't explain the federal side. If she, it doesn't add up. Even what he's trying to say doesn't add up.
To do with the state side of his investigation.
What was the state side that he wanted you to roll over on?
He claimed residency in Florida, and the state was saying that he lived in Georgia.
He lied about living in Florida to get a tax break as being a Florida resident? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So that's what he was asking you to say you lied about that.
But I didn't even say anything at all.
So he goes through this with you, and he says over and over, yes, you did, yes, you did, yes, you did. And in fact, you had an affair with this person. Mm-hmm. When you left there, it was clear to him that you weren't going for this, right?
I think, it was very clear because I said no to that, multiple times I said no, that didn't happen.
I mean, at some point he realized you're not doing it.
Right.
Is that when he threatened to expose you and do all this stuff?
He just gave me.
They also lied about residency for Savannah's pageants.
Chase has this, information.
No, Florida does not have income tax.
So he was.
Wait, let me run it back for you.
Me the warning that I would be careful.
I mean, at some point he realized you're not doing it.
Right.
Is that when he threatened to expose you and do all this stuff?
He just gave me the warning that I would be careful because Chase has this, information and it wouldn't end well.
So he was just kind of a veiled threat.
Mm-hmm.
Management by intimidation. Better be careful.
Right.
What would he say about this if he walked in and sat down right now? How would he attempt to explain this away?
It would be my fault.
Would he say he never said this to you at the barbecue place?
Oh yeah, he said that it's never been threatened.
Oh, he's denied it already.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is fucking messy. To do that to your own child, yikes. We already looked at this slide. Interesting. So, April 2020. So, we kind of sped up a little bit there. But, again, that is October 2019. This drama was just kind of laying there. Next thing we hear about is apparently Todd Chrisley has COVID and was put in the hospital, and apparently a lot of people were making fun of that. And Lindsay went on social media and said, "The audacity of some people blows my mind. This is disgusting. My inbox is flooding with similar messages, and I'm not here for it. Get right or get off my page." So, July 2021, Todd shares a post that is seemingly intended for Lindsay, and just so we'll talk about it more later, because of COVID, their case kept getting pushed back because the courts were prioritizing different things during COVID times because to get people out of jail. So a lot of people that were out on bond, their trials got pushed back a lot. So that's why we have this kind of like weird couple year lull after they get indicted. So July 2021, Lindsay announced that her and her husband are splitting, and Todd shares a post that seems like it was for Lindsay. He said, "I'm here for you. I love you. Whatever is going on in your life right now, I see it, and I'm working all things out for good for you, my child. There is nothing you can do or have done that will make me ever love you less. I will protect you from anything, anyone who tries to harm you or your reputation." The message concluded, "I promise you I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am breathing new wind into and over your life right now. Look for the favor and the blessings I'm sending this season your way because they are from me. I love you so much." That's a lot. And Lindsay admitted she was dealing with so many feelings after finding out her dad commented on the breakup. "As you all know, I shared that I was going through a divorce, and this has been something that has weighed heavily on me in my emotional state for some time now, and it has been very freeing, very, very freeing to be able to share that. We all know that social media is so scary and can make hard situations in life so much harder. Although Todd has her blocked on social media, she saw the message and questions why it couldn't have been sent privately. Part of my homework and therapy for some time now has been disengagement. I was truly shocked when I saw something so personal shared, as we do have each other's numbers." That's crazy that you would put that on Instagram when you know that you're blocked, when you literally have her phone number. Like, you could have just called her up. Could have just texted her, maybe. A letter. Dropped it in her mailbox. But no, Instagram. Parents will post that kind of shit on social media and then scream at you in person. So then, August 2021, Todd shared that he did not have plans to discuss his daughter or her divorce again because it was not his business and he had no knowledge of what happened. He said, "I'm not reaching out and I'm not commenting on the divorce. I spoke about what I woke up to one morning and I talked about it on my podcast, Chrisley Confessions, and I made a commitment that I'm not going to talk about that anymore." So he's like, "I spoke about it one morning, posted one Instagram story, and talked about it on the podcast. I'm literally done talking about it. Like, I'm not going to talk about it. Stop trying to get me to talk about it because I'm not talking about it. But, like, clearly you're talking about it." Then September 2021, Lindsay said there will never be a reconciliation on Entertainment Tonight. She said, "I think that the most that anyone in their life could ask for is for everyone to go on with their lives as they see fit and to just leave the other side alone. But at this point, there will be no chance for reconciliation, and unfortunately, I'm going to continue to respond to whatever allegations are put out. Through therapy over the last year, I've been advised by my therapist to not tune in, to not follow along on social media of things that were being posted because it's triggering to me. So I try to distance myself from that as much as possible." So we will get back into this timeline, but let's go ahead and get back into the case because remember Joshua Waits? Well, March 4th, 2020. Joshua Waits, again, is the Georgia investigator that Todd Chrisley said Lindsay was having an affair with and feeding information to. So, March 4th, 2020, a senior investigator at the State Department of Revenue is resigning while under investigation for falsely stating in a job application that he had a degree from a college that does not exist. Josh Waits was the director of the Office of Special Investigation. He submitted his resignation this week after the state inspector general found he did not have a 2-year degree in criminal justice from the University of Northwest Florida. Waits earns $107,000 a year, said that he had the degree in a job form that he filled out in 2015 when he successfully sought a promotion. Just 2 days before Waits, it gets crazier. Not only did he not have the 2-year degree, you couldn't even lie about a 4-year degree. Like, if I was gonna lie, I'd say I have a master's, you know? But anyway, 2 days before he was supposed to leave, The department fired him because of inquiries into his spending. An investigation by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and Channel 2 Action News found that the Office of Special Investigations used millions of dollars from assets seized in criminal investigations to buy trinkets, travel, engraved firearms, tactical gear, a fleet of cars, and personal items, and they got away with it by padding the budget. What? What? What are you talking about? Isn't that insane? I told you guys this case really, really does have it all. Following Waite's departure, Todd Chrisley retweeted a news report that read, "High-profile state investigator resigns. State Attorney General reviewing to decide whether criminal charges are warranted." And Savannah Chrisley also celebrated the news, saying, "Justice may move slowly, but at least it's moving in the right direction. This is the man who has tried to destroy our family, along with hundreds of other Georgia taxpayers." Literally, what are you talking about? Please look at his LinkedIn. Okay. Let me find it. Let me do it in this window so I make sure I don't log into my own LinkedIn accidentally. Can you send me a link to it? I can't find him. I'm finding other Joshua Waits. Stop. Oh my God, why do we have mutual connections? Ew. Is this him? Oh my God, stop. This is him. Stop. Stop. Okay, I found him. Okay. This is him. He is currently a senior ops manager at KeyBank for fraud investigations. Honestly, I would hire someone who did fraud to be a fraud investigator because, they would know. They would literally know. PM him a link to this stream. I'm not doing that. I'm a senior ops manager at KeyBank, where I lead the internal fraud investigations group. I have over a decade of experience in law enforcement, financial crimes, both an investigator and a doer, and corporate fraud, and a certified law enforcement instructor. My core competencies include using advanced data analytics to detect, prevent, and investigate internal fraud across all lines of business, working with senior leadership, legal, risk, and technology teams to establish incident response protocol. This was written by ChatGPT. Let me tell you that right now. And training and educating staff on best practices and controls. I also leverage my expertise in private investigations and special operations to handle complex and high-profile cases. My mission is to protect the integrity and reputation of KeyBank and its customers and to mitigate the risk and losses associated with internal fraud. And he did! Look! Director, Office of Special Investigations, ended February 2020. Absolutely no notes. Absolutely perfect. Love it. Incredible. There's the degree. There's the degree. But this says he didn't finish it. So I guess he went, but he never finished it. Maybe when he filled out that application, he was like, yeah, I'm going to finish this shit. Let me just write that down. Oh my God. Oh my God, we're only on slide 30. Oh, I guess that's halfway. We're in good shape. We're literally perfect. But anyway, I just thought that was a crazy side piece of lore that he literally was doing fraud while investigating them for doing fraud. This is such art. This is literally such art. Oh my God. This is the kind of white man energy I need to bring to my next job interview. No, this is literally white history right here. This is white history at its absolute finest. So the federal trial began May 2022, 3 years later because of COVID-related delays. So during the trial, prosecutors alleged that the Chrisleys and their accountants submitted fake documents and fabricated their wealth to banks when applying for loans between 2007 and 2012. Basically what that means, I'm kind of broke. So if I go to the bank and I'm like, hey, Bank of America, can I have a loan of some money? They're going to be like, fuck off. You don't have any money, so we're not going to give you any. And I'm going to be like, okay, and I'm going to leave. If I go to Bank of America and I show them, hey, I have a lot of money. Will you loan me a little bit of money? They're like, hell yeah, bitch. Take some money. Whatever you want to do with it. So that is why people lie about how much money they have so that they can get loans. You also get better interest rates if you have more assets. That's good because then the loan is less expensive. You don't have to pay back as much. So that's just a little like finance 101 for you. We should get Mr. Redacted in here. But anyway, so they are alleging that the Chrisleys submitted fake documents to fabricate their wealth to banks and to hide their income from reality TV from the IRS. You can only be doing one crime at a time. That's the thing. You can only be doing one illegal thing at a time because you cannot be trying to inflate your assets to the bank and diminish them to the IRS because the bank and the IRS, thick as thieves. They're BFFs. They're going to talk to each other about you. They have a group chat without you. The bank and the IRS, they are in a group chat, and the title of it is not with your name. So if you are going to lie, you have to keep it consistent. You cannot be telling the IRS one thing and the bank the other thing. You got to tell everybody the same thing. You know? You can never mix crime with reality TV. You will get caught. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, you will get caught. So the Chrisleys' main defense is that the man that turned them to the FBI was a fraudster. They were like, this guy that was investigating us literally got fired. So checkmate. But he may have been doing crime, but he was also doing his job and was correct in investigating you. So in opening statements, their lawyer blamed all the bank fraud and tax evasion on Mark Braddock, a former business partner who testified at the trial that he and Todd had a relationship of the intimate nature in the early 2000s. Braddock admitted to committing bank and tax fraud on the Chrisleys' behalf, and he was given immunity for his crimes for testifying. So, the plot is thickening. Mark Braddock, he's like, A, we're gay. B, we were gay, and I was committing fraud for him while we were being gay. And because I loved him, that's why we committed fraud. And the government was like, we're going to be an ally to you right now, and we're going to give you immunity because we care more about the money than you being gay. So as long as you tell us about the money stuff, we'll give you immunity, and we can just all move past this. Obviously, that's not what happened, but that's my retelling of the events. So a former employee of Todd and Chrisley told the FBI that he committed bank fraud for them because him and Todd had the intimate relationship. Mark said that he met Chrisley at a school function of their kids in the early 2000s, and they became friends 2 years later when they lived in the same neighborhood. So Braddock said he altered documents to help the Chrisleys get loans. When prosecutors asked why he would commit fraud for Chrisley, Braddock replied, I was complicit in giving him what he needed. We had a personal relationship of an intimate nature. I would do whatever he needed to get done. I think he meant that in a lot of ways. Like, I think he meant that sexually. I think he meant that emotionally. I think he meant that financially. I think he meant that, like, administratively and tax-wise. Like that, I would do whatever he needed to get done. That should open like a romance novel where then you immediately go like 10 years previous. I'm not a writer, so someone else do that. I know this is different, but I'm kind of reminded of the fire guy. He meant it criminally. Emotionally, sexually, criminally, financially. So, where was I? The intimate relationship lasted for about a year, but then they went on to have a business relationship and a brotherhood. Whatever that means. He said that he began working for Chrisley's Executive Asset Management, a company that managed and sold foreclosed properties. He said that he helped grow the company from 2 employees to 60 employees, and later worked for a similar company that Chrisley founded after Executive Asset Management was sold in 2005. Braddock testified that Chrisley burned through more than $3.5 million from the sale of his first company in only a year, buying Bentleys, other luxury cars, designer clothes, and more. Braddock said that a few years later, when the second half of the $8 million came through, Chrisley also burned through that money. Braddock testified that he used Microsoft Word to create fake documents inflating the Chrisleys' income and the amount of money in their account to make it look as if they were wealthier than they were in order to acquire loans on their behalf. He also created fake documents for his own financial benefit, he testified in a cross-examination. The Chrisleys fired Braddock in 2012. Todd Chrisley has since alleged that Braddock stole money from his family. Braddock went to the FBI after his firing and told officials that he committed financial crimes on the Chrisleys' behalf. Before the family got famous with their show, the government had granted Braddock immunity in exchange for his cooperation on the case. So it was never even Lindsay that tipped him off. It was Mark Braddock back in 2012. And this is the thing. Financial crimes take a very, 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 very long time to investigate. And a lot of times they will purposefully investigate them slowly if they see you're continuing to do them so that they can get you on as many things as possible, if that makes sense. Because this is very expensive to investigate, so they want to like get their money's worth and get you in trouble for a lot of stuff. So if they're like, oh, they're doing this crime and this crime, let's see what else they're doing. You know, they'll like wait a tax season or two. The immunity agreement does not prohibit other federal attorneys' offices or state governments from prosecuting him on separate charges, though. And they asked Braddock if he was aware that if he were lied to the jury that he would be charged with perjury, and he said, "There is not a doubt in my mind." So seems like he's telling the truth. His wife is like low-key ally behavior to him. So he said that he kept the affair a secret from his own wife, Leslie, who he'd been married to for more than 3 decades. He was forced to tell her about his infidelities before testifying, and it is since reported that she is standing by her husband, whom she shares 2 children with. And Leslie is a real estate agent, and she has forgiven Mark for his affair with Todd and says she intends to stay married to her husband of 35 years. So good for Leslie and Mark, I guess. This is really Todd's motto. Be gay, do crime, deny both. Deny, 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 deny. So, some more details about this case and what they actually did. The 12-count indictment obtained by CNN also alleges the Chrisley committed bank fraud and wire fraud conspiracy, among other offenses. Peter Tarantino, the Chrisley's accountant, is also been indicted on tax offenses. So I guess after Mark Braddock left, they hired somebody else to do it. So that really takes away their defense. Like, oh, it was our accountant and we fired him. Like, okay, the second accountant did it too. Like, that's not a coincidence. You definitely were telling them to do that. In a statement announcing the indictment, U.S. Attorney said the Chrisleys were charged with not only defrauding a number of banks by fraudulently obtaining millions of dollars in loans, but also with allegedly cheating taxpayers by actively evading paying federal taxes on the money they earned. Celebrities face the same justice that everyone else does. These are serious federal charges, and they will have their day in court. The indictment says they submitted fake bank and financial statements to get loans. During the conspiracy, Todd Chrisley directed a co-conspirator to send false information to banks. For example, in 2008, a bank said it would not renew A bank said it would not renew a loan without updated financial information, and Chrisley allegedly ordered the co-conspirator to get it done, even though the couple did not have the funds. The quote from his email is, "If you do not know how to do this, then find a crooked accountant to do it." You cannot fucking say that over email. You cannot say that in an email to people. And in a statement, the attorney said that the emails were never sent and that the emails were fabricated by Mark Braddock. You really fucking think that the U.S. federal government, with all of their resources, is going to use a fraudulent email in court? You think a screenshot was enough for them? Like, no, they're not going to use fraudulent emails in a court case. Also, my whole leg is asleep. I think Todd Chrisley's doing that to me. I don't know how, but I think he is. So, throughout the conspiracy, they submitted lots of false documents to banks. As a result of false representation, a number of the banks issued the conspirators millions of dollars in loans, much of which Todd and Julie Chrisley used for their own personal benefit. In a sworn affidavit in 2012, Chrisley said that he did not know the co-conspirator had submitted the documents and accused him of using their accountant's stationery and signature without their consent. Even after their relationship ended with the co-conspirator, the couple continued submitting fake documents, according to the indictment. For example, during a lease application in the process for a home in California, the property owner wanted Julie Chrisley to provide a credit report and bank statement showing that the couple had at least $486,000 in their account. And a lease would mean that they're renting this California home. When applying to rent a home in July 2014, Julie Chrisley transmitted multiple fabricated documents that had been physically cut and then glued or taped together. That's in the game. Julie Chrisley is probably on the floor of her bedroom printing out fake bank statements on her HP printer and getting out her little scrapbooking supply Tupperware and cutting little pieces of paper and using a little Elmer's glue stick to put together fake financial documents. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. It is the burn book. It literally is the burn book. And then on July 23rd, Julie Chrisley sent an email to the realtor attaching a City National Bank account statement reporting the account balance of $86,790. In reality, City National Bank had a negative balance of $14,530. Cut and glued together. I cannot with the cut and glued together. And then on July 26th, Julie Chrisley sent a copy of a bank statement for that month showing a balance of $409,738.85, but the account had zero balance. So, imagine their youngest kid cutting out papers for his homework and his mom just committing a felony. How do they even let you get that negative? Ask Anna Delvey. Julie Chrisley also sent a false credit report showing her scores were between the mid-700s and 800s, while they were actually in the 500s. Again, the numbers had been cut out and taped to make it seem like her credit score was higher. She has that little, you know the scale on Credit Karma? She cuts out the little needle and like scooches it over and then like fills it in with whiteout. The cutting and pasting is really what gets me. Like you couldn't even have a Canva account? You're cutting and pasting? After they signed the lease and started using that property, they did not pay their rent and the property owner had to threaten them with eviction. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, this is actually so embarrassing for them with the fucking arts and crafts. For a rental house in California. What are y'all doing? And around 2010, the couple and a third person also conspired to defraud the IRS. The couple formed a company called Seven Seas Production and directed a third parties to send money there, the indictment alleges. Todd Chrisley had control over the company and had access to its bank accounts, but he was not listed as the owner in the documents filed with the Georgia and Tennessee Secretaries of State. The family did own homes in both states. Julie Chrisley was listed on the company's corporate documents and had signature authority over its bank accounts, but Todd Chrisley actually controlled it. The information was kept out of the documents to impede the IRS from determining his income. The couple made large personal expenditures even though they had significant tax liabilities, and they failed to timely file federal tax returns or pay income taxes for 2013, 14, 15, or 16 tax years. So that's what I mean. When Mark Braddock went to the FBI in 2012, the FBI was like, let's watch this for a little bit. Got my eye on you. Let's see how long you do this. You know? So, a lot going on. May 2022. Lindsay Chrisley surprised fans when she took the stand amid the trial and spoke in support of her father. She went on the stand to support her father. During her testimony, she walked back on her previous claims that her father had allegedly tried to blackmail her with a sex tape, and she told the jury that she no longer believed that Todd was involved in exploiting her and confirmed there was no sex tape. Lindsay insisted that Todd's priorities are his children and his wife in that order while defending her estranged parent. That blew my mind, that she went on the stand to defend him. Like, are you joking me? So, That was on May 26th that she also told the Atlanta federal jury that her dad was there to support her when she was getting treatment for her eating disorder in 2008. And when her brother Kyle was in the throes of an addiction between 2009 and 12, he was there to support him too. So I guess she's like doing character witness type shit for him. We were trying to get him help, looking for him in the street. Looking for him on the street, Lindsay said on the stand Lindsay said on the stand. During that time is when he was accused of tax fraud. They said his focus was on his children, and she told the court while testifying in his defense. And then on cross-examination, prosecutors pushed Lindsay to talk about a different side of the relationship with her dad, entering emails into evidence showing that she reached out to the FBI after her father's indictment and begged for their assistance in getting a restraining order against him. He had been harassing her and threatening to exploit her, she told law enforcement in emails and during a meeting. She said, "I am in no way, shape, or form connected to this monster." She said that in 2020. Lindsay, who is Todd's daughter from a former marriage, evaded these questions, and her answers became sarcastic that members of the jury had outbursts commenting on her attitude. She said, "You're not doing anybody any favors by answering questions like that," Judge Eleanor Ross eventually interrupted. Trust me. So I guess she was just being like mad rude in court. During her testimony, Lindsay said she doesn't believe her father was involved in her extortion and has learned there never was a sex tape. And she said, "It ruined my life." Yikes. So these are the emails that they brought up in court. Super fucking blurry. Sorry about that. This is an email from Lindsay to the FBI. She said, "Hi, Stephen. There's been some concerning things that Chase has been posting that I'm worried. Can you follow up with me? These are very suggestive. Maybe I'm just truly afraid, but this is insane. If you could just guide me in the right direction. Thank you, Lindsay." And then this is a much longer document. It is a lot of pages. We're not going to read the whole thing. But it says, Lindsay was interviewed at the Atlanta office of the FBI. Also present during the interview was Assistant United States Attorney. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing parties, they provided the following information. And it's basically just an interview about their relationship, saying that she didn't speak to her father. And just, yeah, we'll kind of get into more of this in a second. So, Chrisley and her brother Kyle, apparently when she was 19, they asked Julie to adopt her and him. You can't adopt a 19-year-old, but whatever. But apparently that is relevant because during this time in an early college, she worked for her father's company, Chrisley Asset Management, in the office. During that time, her father owned the company with Mark Braddock, the gay lover, who went to the FBI. The man who admitted to doing bank fraud with Todd Chrisley. And Lindsay testified that Braddock had a Napoleon complex and that he would use her father's personal email account and instant messaging account in the office while she was there. She believed that Braddock hated her and her siblings and didn't like when she was in the office. She said when she was around 19 or 20, she was living in a townhouse that was owned by her father with the conditions that she kept her grades up, stay healthy, and not invite boys over. One day, Braddock entered the townhouse uninvited and found Lindsay Chrisley in bed with her boyfriend, who she later ended up marrying, and apparently he took photos of Lindsay and her boyfriend on his phone and said that he took the photos for safekeeping, and she said that she was scared that she was going to lose her housing, so she never told her dad about this because she said she would be telling on herself. What? Literally, what is this? What is this? Eventually, she quit the Chrisley Asset Management Company when Braddock told her that her father was having an affair with his assistant, and Lindsay said that she believed Mark Braddock and didn't want to stay around to see it. This family! It just gets more confusing. After quitting, she gave back everything that her father owned, changed her number, and tried to make it out on her own, she testified. Later, she learned that that affair wasn't true. And then Lindsay Chrisley appeared in the first few seasons of Chrisley Knows Best before 2017. And she said that now her and her family are just coexisting. And she said, "I have their grandchild." What the fuck? What the fuck? She needs a therapist not to testify. This father-daughter relationship should really be studied. This should be studied by experts. This is absolutely insane. How much I would pay to be a fly on the wall in all of this? No, for real. Like, this is insane. So fucking weird. So the almost 3-week-long trial concluded June 7th, and Todd and Julie Chrisley were convicted on all accounts of bank fraud and tax evasion. After less than 3 days of deliberation, the jury on an Atlanta federal trial found that Todd, Julie, and their accountant, the new accountant, not Mark, remember Mark has immunity, guilty on all charges relating to running a years-long conspiracy to defraud banks and hiding their money from the IRS. The prosecutors were successful in proving that the couple went to great lengths to manipulate the financial records and inflate their wealth so that they could live a flashy lifestyle they could not afford. And Todd was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., and tax fraud. Julie was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the U.S., tax fraud, and wire fraud. And Tarantino, their accountant, was convicted on conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and willfully filing false tax returns. So, everybody's in trouble. And an insider reported at the time, under the terms of their release, Todd and Julie were ordered to stay home at all times. This is because you get charged and then you get sentenced later. It doesn't happen like in the same day. So Todd and Julie were ordered to stay at home at all times unless they were at work, school, religious service, or seeking medical care. And they also needed to alert their probation officer anytime they spend more than $1,000. And during this period, they continued to use their podcast, Chrisley Confessions, to communicate with their fans. In the 8th month between their trial and eventual beginning of their sentences, they put out weekly episodes. So that's insane. This is a fucking fever dream. This is from October 17th, 2022. So this is after they're found guilty, because that happened in June 2022. So this is after they're found guilty, before they're sentenced or put in prison. Todd, Lindsay, Julie, and Savannah talk about their family drama.
Nothing very rarely ever requires an immediate response to something. And I think that has been something that I've had to learn through therapy, that if someone says something to me and I don't like it... This is
insane that they're all on a podcast together.
Mm-hmm. It's okay for you to sit with it for a moment to try to reach a level of understanding of where that person is coming from and why they might have felt that way, and try to look at their perspective.
Why does everyone have a podcast? Me included.
That's right. And it's taken me a while, in my life, because I think that my mind functions. I mean, Julie and I, we've made it very clear, we do therapy and we have counseling, and we have a great Christian counselor.
Christian counselor.
He said that,
put the Christ in counseling.
How was it he said about compartmentalizing? My ability to compartmentalize.
Oh, what's your podcast? Teacher Quit Talk?
You have to be able to compartmentalize things.
That my ability to compartmentalize was stronger than anyone that they've ever counseled.
He did it. He won therapy.
And I was so proud of that.
It's exhausting.
I was so proud that, I've got someone that recognizes with this level of education how brilliant I am that I can compartmentalize that.
That's a trauma response.
Can I just say that's literally me in therapy?
I literally say that. Wait until you see my first podcast episode. I say the exact same thing. It's like, I pride myself on the fact that I could be bawling my eyes out in that room, and 2 minutes later, I'll walk out, the camera, look like $1 million, no one would ever even know. But when in reality, that's nothing to be proud of. It's actually sad that you're at a place in your life
to where it's so comfortable that for you to transition from one to the other so quickly.
Yeah.
But it took
why do I feel called out?
Until the next session when I said, but even you acknowledge that I'm great at compartmentalizing. But Todd, I didn't mean that as a compliment. You took that as a compliment. What I was trying
Surprise
to
therapy,
understand,
the worst kind,
is that the reason you can compartmentalize so much is because you're dealing with so little. You're truly not dealing with everything at the time that it needs to be dealt with. You're putting everything in nice, neat boxes, putting them up on the shelf. And when you get to a place,
this is the blind leading the blind. Who's watching this podcast? I mean, I guess we are.
In there and start trying to deal with this one. No, it wasn't meant as a compliment. And so I think for me is that at where I am at my
I'm not
life
interested
right now,
in bettering myself. Sorry.
That obviously, I'm thrilled that you're back with your family because I believe that family is first.
What the fuck?
That
What the fuck?
blood is blood no matter what. And we can argue, we don't have to agree about everything, but what we do have to do is have mutual respect for each other. We have to respect that each other has the right to feel the way they feel. And for a long time, I think that I felt
Odd
like
transition.
my way of feeling was
Quick
the only
segue.
way of feeling.
Their family is a cult. They have the numbers for it.
I do want to say that about the compartmentalizing, I think that was also a big part of
This is so weird.
conflict with me working on the show as well, because my personality is not one to do that. If something is wrong, I'm going to wear that on my sleeve and you're going to know it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to show up in the way that some of you were able to show up to Chrisley Knows Best and say, yeah, I'm having a real shit time,
But I still have a job to do.
I still have a job to do. And I viewed that as, yes, there's cameras
I
here.
feel like Todd is a TV evangelist.
But it's still family and this is still what's going on. I couldn't separate those two things to effectively
I do like Savannah's hair. I
do
want
what I
her
needed to do
that.
on Chrisley Knows Best.
But you also would not have been able to have said what you just said without going through what you've been going without going through what we've gone through.
And that's also the hard part too, is because like Lindsay said, ask anyone. Anyone's gonna say that I'm your favorite. That's not true. It's just there are ways that
Yes,
we
it is.
connect emotionally and psychologically that are that are just
I
odd.
feel like that it's God, but it's also like that twin syndrome.
I can't even
It
tell
really
what they're
is.
trying to say.
It really is
you
like
know, like
you-
I'll be like, is Dad okay? What's wrong?
And how many times have I said to you, something's not right with Savannah?
Yeah.
And then I get on the phone, and then you break down, you start telling me what's going on, and she said, and you've said, how did you know? And I say, I felt it in my spirit.
But it's also even whenever
I think this is what me and my
you I
friends
went through
sound
that
like.
time of not speaking. It was like 6 months that we went and we did not speak, but
Sounds like
we
my
would show
nightmare
up
one rotation.
and we would film, and no
And
one
when the
ever
cameras
knew.
went off,
When the cameras went
she
off,
went her way, I went mine.
but like during breaks, during anything, we didn't speak. We didn't like it was cold. But on camera, you would never know. But that's because we both had the ability to compartmentalize and cut it off. And
Imagine
then
it's a
feel
holiday
it
and you have to eat
at a
a
later
meal
time.
with them.
Right.
That's exactly right.
He's a girl in her
And I
20s.
think that it's-
Which looking at it, it's like that's some real
That's some
twisted.
psycho stuff.
Yeah, it's
It really
twisted.
is.
I mean,
Yeah.
it really
Blind
is
leading the
a
blind.
twisted thing, and not to say
Okay, I cannot handle the rest of this, but just know they were doing this weekly. During the set, like during the trial, like they got on their Zoom weekly. So, November 2022, a federal judge sentenced Todd and Julie to a combined 19 years in prison. Their sentences were announced almost 5 months after they were found guilty. Todd is what prosecutors called the mastermind. He was sentenced to 12 years. Julie was believed to have played a lesser role, so she was sentenced to 7 years in prison. And Torrentino was the accountant. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. And following jail time, all three were sentenced to 16 months of probation. Both Todd and Julie were sentenced below what the federal sentencing guidelines to laid out and less to what prosecutors asked for due to their age and health and the fact that they care for Todd's mother and other relatives. So I guess they gave him a lesser sentence because of their age, which lame. Had a feeling it's because of the way they look too. After he was sentenced, Todd choked up over what he described as an enormously sad day for his families and asked the court to give his wife less prison time. He said, "My wife Julie should not be punished," and he stressed that his wife is the caregiver for their children, Grayson and Chloe. "I'm most concerned for Chloe and Grayson," Julie said through sobs at the sentencing. "To hear your 10-year-old say she doesn't want to live if their mom goes away, no child should feel that way." Julie's request to stay in home confinement until their adopted daughter is an adult was ultimately denied by the court. So Julie was like, riddle me this. I'll do home confinement till Chloe turns 18. And the court was like, what the fuck? No. What are you talking about? That's not a thing. Following their sentence, Savannah took custody of Grayson and Chloe. So Savannah has custody of their 2 younger children. I was going to talk about Savannah more, but I decided not to because she was obviously raised by insane people. And she defends her parents, but also I'm 25, and if I got custody of a 10-year-old and a 16-year-old, I don't know what the fuck I would be doing with them. So whatever, man. Seems like Savannah has a lot going on. Prayers for her. So on January 4th, 2023, Todd Chrisley blast claims that he's gay and had an affair with a former business associate. This is their podcast. Let me pull it up for you. So this is after he got sentenced, but before he reported to jail. So this is Chrisley Confessions. This is from 12/29/2022. So after the sentencing, before they're reporting for jail. Let's listen.
Honey, we've got...
Yeah.
Just a confession.
And look at some of the titles of these. Judas Kiss rebuking Satan in time is a great healer. Season of hardships, leaning into faith and forgiving yourself. Pressing forward, prayers in need, losing faith in the media. The press, tipping points, loyalty to the truth. These are weekly. Faith over fear, tabloid rumors, and God's time, not Todd's time. Q&A with Grace and Chrisley. Guess we run out of time that week. Unconditional love, children of God, gratitude. Walking through the fire, digging down deep, not giving up. That is the day after they were sentenced, but this was filmed before. Oversharing, book of job, and it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Feet held to the fire, accountability, and the election. This is really insane. So I haven't listened to this podcast. This is an hour. I figured we'd just kind of bounce around until we heard something interesting. I tried to find like clips of it, but I think we're the only people interested in this.
Well, folks, I hate to disappoint you, but Julie's not with us today. She's actually doing other things, and I think she's going to be doing a podcast with Emmy next week, right?
She is.
Good.
Yeah.
So Christmas, you had a good Christmas?
We did.
Good.
Boring.
But honest and truthfully say that God answered my prayers with not just Emmy, but with the family that she comes from.
Yeah, she has a great family. Now I just talked about it. I haven't even read all of them because it just seems like every day there's
in her home. He had placed a laptop in there. That the whole thing of it is that all spoon that you get at Baskin and Robbins.
You're the whole day.
A lie will travel
really, really hard. I really hope that you'll join me every Tuesday as I bring on friends, family, and some guests that I'm pretty
this
sure
really
you're
is
gonna
painful.
recognize. Listen and follow Unlocked now on
Okay,
Apple
this is the part where he
Podcasts,
talks about his business
Spotify,
partner, I
Amazon
think.
Music, YouTube, or your
this eyelash
favorite
is something
podcast
else.
app.
Eyelash glue.
But let's move on from that because we didn't get that. We didn't put too much air in that. But so you are going to be doing this interview with me next week. Nothing is off limits. It's a no holds barred interview. You'll be able to ask all.
There's some uncomfortable questions, but
yes. Well, they're not uncomfortable for us. Right. It's not uncomfortable for us because we know the truth.
Yeah.
Other people that were coming in that wants to interview might say, I know this is probably an uncomfortable question. No, we're good with the truth. The truth is not uncomfortable for us. The lie that you might report is uncomfortable for us. Because a lie
I'm already sick of this
around
podcast.
the world faster than the truth ever has a chance to.
100%. Well, it's more entertaining. Well, you would think, but honestly, the truth in our situation is more entertaining than the lie, because the lie is easier to go with for everybody. But the truth,
things that that has been said about you, or that you have struggled with the most. And I said, they said, is it the gay rumor? And I said,
this is what I wanted.
No, I've said that's never bothered me. I said the thing that has insulted me the most is that
out of all of these 54 years, for me to finally be accused of being with a man, it would be someone that looked like Mark Braddock.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a toad. I mean, somebody that looks like a thumb.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody who says he's only had sex with his wife and me. Let me tell you something. I can understand if you'd have had sex with me, how it would have ran you crazy. I get that.
Why is this a podcast with his son?
There have been many that have been digmatized by your daddy. But now that little short sawed thing was wishful thinking. And then to go and sit and say that
his story changed 5 times.
5 times. I think one time it's actually in the transcript that he had only been with his wife and me, and it was just something he wanted
I'm
to
terrified
try.
right now.
I ain't that small spoon that you get at Baskin & Robbins.
You're the whole damn scoop.
I'm the whole scoop. You don't get to just sample here. And so that was the most insulting thing. I mean, like, if George Clooney had gone out here or Brad Pitt gone here and said, you know, I had a dick down with Todd Chrisley, I'm not gonna be.
Now they're gonna run with it.
I don't care, let them run with it. I'm not gonna be as embarrassed by it. But to say that it was somebody that looked like him, that had no more, somebody that was a thief,
a documented thief, and a documented liar.
Right, exactly.
Bring back secrets.
Yeah, I'm out for revenge. Is it fair to say that you'd do anything to destroy the Chrisleys? Yep. And why do you lie? Well, sometimes I just lie to lie. And how is that a credible soul?
Please, Mr. Redacted, make it stop.
Well, my mind doesn't see things that way.
Well, there's only one way to see it.
Right. And then when they said, now you stole hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a couple of months just from one of the Chris's accounts, isn't that true? And his response was, sounds about right.
So I will stop torturing you, but literally this is insane. These were some of the quotes, but we literally just listened to it. So, like, we just need to move on because that was, like, really, really traumatizing. The judge allowed both of the Chrisleys to surrender themselves to custody. Basically, that means instead of the police coming to pick you up, you just show up there at a designated time. Todd and Julie both reported to the Federal of Prisons to commence their sentences January 17th, 2023, and their accountant reported to prison on Monday, May 1st, 2023. Todd reported to the federal prison camp in Pensacola. His current release date is scheduled for 2035, when he will be 65. Julie first asked to serve her sentence at the Florida Correctional Institute in Tallahassee, which is just 500 miles south of the family base in Nashville, but she was later assigned to the FCI Mariana in Mariana, Florida. However, in January, she was sent to neither. She is currently serving her sentence at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. It is unclear how long Julie will be at the Minimum Security Medical Center, which is more than 650 miles from Todd's prison, or why she was sent there. If she serves her full sentence, she'll be released in 2030. So, the Chrisleys maintain that they are innocent. After their motion for bail pending their appeal was denied, their lawyers went ahead with appealing their sentences. Speaking on Savannah's podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, in August, the family lawyer said that the judge hasn't reviewed any of the arguments in their appeal yet. The government hasn't even filed their response to our appeal yet. They've asked for more time once more than twice. What? That's going to happen in 2 weeks, so we'll see in 2 weeks what the answers to these issues might be. And then in another episode of Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, she spoke with her guest, Governor Phil Murphy. The random ass people that keep popping up about accessibility to mental health resources. She said she spent thousands of dollars a month on therapists and psychologists for herself and Grayson and Chloe since their parents entered the prison. She said, I am blessed and fortunate to be able to do that, but the everyday person might not have those resources. Literally, what are you talking about right now, ma'am? Todd's release was bumped up to January 22nd, 2033, which is about 2 years sooner than his initial sentence. And Julie's was advanced from 2030 to 2028, 1 year and 3 months short of her original sentence. And their attorney said, without a doubt, Todd and Julie are model incarcerated individuals who received exorbitant sentences. I believe Todd is down to 10 years and Julie is now at 5. So, seems like they're not getting treated that mean by the criminal justice system. Seems like they're doing pretty okay. But here were the many sources from tonight. You can see there's a lot, and I missed a bunch of them. I don't even think this is all of them. Her insurance must suck for therapy for it to cost that much as a rich white lady. Also, the best therapists don't take insurance. The best therapists just don't take it because they're at a point in their career where they're so sought after that people will just pay cash because they love that therapist. So that is probably why it's costing her thousands of dollars per month, because she's probably using the most expensive therapist of all time, which I probably would too. So whatever. So that was a lot. That was a lot that happened within this case. Next week, we will be talking about the other guy from Tiger King, Doc Antle. He is also in prison right now, and his whole Tiger King shit was weird. He had a bunch of women working for him. Let's see what the fuck was going on there. I really don't know anything, so I can't really say anything else to entice you, but I will be learning about it. So I hope you like this stream topic. I muddled around with a few different ideas before I landed on this. So that will be next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, with the other guy from Tiger King. There is his mugshot. But without further ado, let's play the game. Which game do we want to play? What theme? Underwater, because they're underwater in their finances. Jungle. Myrtle Beach Safari is nice as fuck. Shut up. I'm leaning towards underwater. We haven't done that in a while, and they're underwater in their finances. So, you do not have to pay anything or... not what I wanted. No! It's okay. I can get it back. This happens a lot. That was weird. Sorry. Have you covered anyone from Teen Mom? That is a good question. I have not. I was going to cover Janelle Evans, but I decided these issues are very real for her children in this moment. And because her issues are with her children, I don't want to talk about it because I try and think about, like, how would I feel if I was born to a psychopath that was on Teen Mom and then all of my parental child issues were, like, busted out in the media, and then I open YouTube to some bitch talking about it for 2 hours? You know? So I decided not to talk about Janelle Evans just because, I don't know, I feel bad for her kids. So I didn't want to, like, air their shit out because they're literally still kids. But it is a really good topic. So, difficult to play. I have thought about doing Farrah because Farrah, her drama is more herself, not with her child. I'm not saying no to all Teen Mom people. But Janelle, it's just, like, too with her kid, and it makes me feel bad. You can play the video of Farrah and Shane Dawson. It's agonizingly cringe. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this game. I don't need your email address. I don't need money. I don't need any of that. All you do is go to join.nearpod.com, or I'm about to send this link in the chat as well, and you just put in the code. So go to join.nearpod.com, and the code is U98QK. So it'll ask you your name. Do something funny. Unless you want to put your real name, that's fine too. Janelle hexed another TikToker for talking about her boyfriend. Stop. That's terrifying. And you will get to play this fun little trivia game. It is about what we talked about on tonight's stream. Shane would be good, but are we not all sick of gross, disgusting men? Mr. Dacted is always trauma informed. I try to be. But anyway, I'll give people a couple more minutes to do Nearpod. While you all are playing the game, I'm going to play Britney Spears. Also, I'm feeling a lot of regrets. So I just need, let me find this playlist and then, Naomi. I'll tell you why I'm feeling regret. Britney Spears playlist, best songs. Cool. This is what I play for my class. Fucking ads. Okay, so while you all are playing the game, we'll listen to Britney Spears. But let me tell you why I'm feeling guilty. So I feel like when I did Britney for my stream last week, I just did not give her the justice that she needed because I was sick and I was just like tired and ready to be done. So I was kind of like speeding through it, and I just I feel bad that I failed Britney Spears because like everyone's failed Britney Spears and I didn't want to add to that. You know what I mean? And I just feel bad about that. So I just wanted to talk about that. In hindsight, this is what I wish I had done. I wish I had been like, hey guys, I'm sick, not gonna stream tonight. I'll stream on Monday. And I wish I had done 2 this week. I had done Brittany on Monday and Todd Chrisley the next. No, last week Slade. I'm glad you liked it. She could be a revamp stream though. That's what I was thinking. Maybe next time I like get busy or don't have time for something or whatever, I'll do another Britney stream to kind of like give her more justice that she deserves. Because I was losing my voice. I felt like it wasn't as good as it could have been. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to join the game. Let me put the link in the chat again. I'm literally gonna raw dog this game. I'm just joining now. Also, can I just de-influence something for a second? I got these slippers, like the platform ones, and I kind of hate them. Kind of hate it, not gonna lie. They're also difficult to walk in. I'll say it, don't buy them. These aren't the UGG ones. These are on Amazon for $40. That's usually my go-to. When I get a knockoff, I don't get like a super cheap knockoff. I'll get like a mid-price knockoff. That's the key. Like I have a knockoff Celine bag. A Celine bag is like $6,000. My knockoff Celine bag was like $120 and it's made of real leather. So, and same thing. This Cartier bracelet, this is a knockoff Cartier bracelet. On the inside, you can't really see it, but it has like the Cartier like engraving on the inside and everything. Real Cartier Love Lock bracelet. I think they're like $9,000 or something ridiculous like. But Margaret, fire emoji, Dee Dee Chrisley, Todd Chrisley himself from prison. Todd! Rose, Savannah's Bob, telling white collar crimes to the FBI, KCK, Zoe, Lackadaisy, Amanda, Bye Baby Angel. Bye Baby Angel, welcome back. Love when you're here. Spinach, Fluffy Bunny, Zoe, Kelsey, Speak Meow, A Dutch Bros Parking Lot, good to see you as always, Astronaut, Morgs, Hayden, and I will scroll through the rest. Todd Chrisley again, A Quick Trip Parking Lot, good to see you, Tax Evasion. All right, this was so fun. Any questions, any memes, anything I missed, anything to share? Joe has the meth suicides, but Doc gives me cult leader pedo. Yeah, pretty much. So that's why we're talking about him next week. So I loved this topic. I thought this was so interesting and so layered. I love a case like this where there's just so much going on and so many different layers to it. This was very difficult to put this together, but I'm very proud of this. If the Georgia Department of Revenue had any diligence, totally real college degree. Don't question it, guys. Julie thinking she was hot shit while committing white collar crimes with safety scissors and a purple Elmer's glue stick. Learn more from this than my college lectures. That's what I try to do. Try to offer a better value. And thank you again to everyone who subscribes. Greatly appreciate you. Love when people subscribe. And thank you again to anyone who has bought the limited edition Christmas merch. While you guys are making your memes, I will model our merch again. These shorts are not the merch. These are from Old Navy from a couple years ago. But anyway, all I want for Christmas is a livable wage crew necks in red on my Shopify, which is on my page, on my link tree. Enjoy limited edition drop. We'll probably do more of the seasonal type thing. Wanted to see how this one went. But yeah, that was scary. I hope you guys had a great time. This is just the best, honestly. I agree. I'm homeless, I'm gay, I commit fraud, and I'm new in town. What's that from? Why do I know that? Why do I know what that is? What is that from? I'd like to do much tax fraud considering where my tax money goes. Oh, John Mulaney. Yes, John Mulaney. John Mulaney. He did his wife so terribly. But also, can I just say, what he did to his ex-wife Anna, terrible. But people acted like he committed a crime. Like, people acted like he got caught doing, like, human trafficking when that happened. Oh. So, have a great night, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. If your family is being weird and saying weird things to them, tell them to leave you alone. I will see you same place, same time next week. We'll be talking about Doc Antle. Hope everybody has a great night. Buy some Christmas merch. Love you. XOXO.